I wanted to create this piece of content for you because I'm disrupting the values and the core belief of a lot of people. Because you know why? I just realized I just watched an amazing video, and it's about being a rebel. I want to be a rebel. To fight for the cause and be the one and the chosen one of Neo. We are the chosen one anyway. So yesterday I was before I went to sleep, I was on my old Facebook and I reactivated a while back. Um, and at that time, I like a lot of stuff. I go into groups that I wasn't even aware of joining, but then I joined this group, close group. It's called The Law of Attraction uh, by Neville Goddard. This amazing book by Neville Goddard is a compilation of his work. Um, and I saw a um, post, a Facebook wall post by this lady, and she granted me, or she gave me permission to use her story. But also, I noticed something else too. And we're speaking about imagination, right? And since I'm trying to solve a lot of people problem or solve a problem in the community of the law of attraction spiritual, see, my channel is about much more than just law of attraction, or I wanted to incorporate me. I want to incorporate what's my imagination, what's who I am as a person, or uh, what represent the idea around the channel, because I I struggle sometimes to do these things because people don't like it. You know, I've seen a lot of people dislike a lot of things. But anyway, I tell you, I won't mention her name. Yesterday, I was riding on the subway with a friend, and I got to talking about um, teaching young children the power of their imagination, how that would change their whole lives, and thus change our world. She said to me that I was thinking about what's dangerous because children go through a phase of magical thinking. And it is important that kids understand the difference between imagination and the real world. I held my tongue. So here's the thing. Um, what her friend say was she's a she's like everyone else. But let's talk about imagination for a second, right? I think that too often we spill out this imagination thing, and yet, you know, I was talking to her. I was like, crap, I don't know more information about her. See, the thing is that I was limiting my scope of understanding her mind because I had to check, I had to scope her Facebook wall. And what I do is I look at her, what she likes, so I can relate to her. That's how you get people to talk to you and focus. You have to focus on people and focus on them. That's what I do usually. Uh, I always get triple on this. Okay, I want to talk about myself too, but I used to a lot. So what happened is I used to use this method a lot where I let other people talk about themselves and carry on the conversation. But it's exhausting sometimes because I don't get to talk about myself. They talk about themselves all the time, and they don't let me share about myself, right? And my best friend, when I share about myself, he would shut me up, and that kind of hurt me. He didn't understand that. I was like, whoa. Come on, you share your. I listen to your side. You always share about your side. You never let me share my side. Come on, man. If you're a friend, you possibly share friendship, and you talk about what the other person and you share, you know, that's dynamic duo of conversation. It's not just one-sided conversation. It's about understanding and talking. Anyway, I was trying to help. My mission is actually to change the law of attraction thinking. But anyway, I wanted to share her message because I think it's very important because I come across a lot of people who talk about imagination and yet they fight for the limitation. I mean, I do too, and we all do. We have all limitation within us, and we have to be able to break that, right? Most of you who are into Neville Goddard, you only read Neville Goddard, or people who go into extra hick, they only study extra hick, or they only study one certain aspect of law of attraction. You're fighting for your limitation. You're fighting. Okay, let's talk about it. I had this one lady. You know what's funny? How we talk about imagination and yet we fight for our limitation. Why is that? I thought that imagination is about innovation. It's about thinking bigger. It's about creativity. It's about like we can use our imagination to go anywhere we want to go, and yet we're fighting for our limitation. Because in a sense, when you're fighting for a limitation, you're actually using your imagination in reverse of including your experience and what you know, right? A lot of people use the imagination wrong by using their fear. Fear is also a form of imagination. People imagine, I do too. I form a imagination of fear in a bottle you up and you don't do anything with it. She have a limitation. She said she only studied Neville Goddard. Now, if she can take this constructive criticism, and for you, I want you to understand this. People fight for their limitation. I'm telling you, I see it within artists have limitation too. They're fighting for the limitation too. Even if they can draw, even if they can imagine and do great things, they're fighting for the limitation. So is martial artists. So is kung fu artists. So is artists. So is writers. They're fighting for their limitation. Today, do not stop fighting for your limitation and embrace the. See, here's the thing that tripped me up sometimes. I listen to a lot of people from spiritual to artists to everything. They're fighting for the limitation of what they know. But I'm fighting for my limitation too. So that's why I read books to destroy my limitation. Because books enable me to imagine greater things, like reading quantum physics. See, people get in the debate of science and quantum physics. Nature does not fight for limitation. If we think about it, nature is like massive abundance and creativity, explosions and whatnot, right? Nature, like if you look at space, if you look like universe, it's creative. It's destroying and creating, and it has no limits. It's no bound. Yet our mind holds us back most of the time. I will be reading about the imagination, but what does have to do with Neville Goddard? Well, people. What I'm gonna read you. What a comfort is to know that all I experience is the result of my own standard of beliefs. That I am the center of my own web of circumstances. That as I change, so my outer world. So if you change your inner world, your outer world experiences, or your inner world, what you see changes. Um, just it's just like Jim Rohn. He said, if you would change, everything will change for you. So I'm really reading that part. But today, um, I would like to say, stop fighting for your limitation and start explaining, exploring the whole concept of if we think that if we know the power of the mind to be powerful, whether you're in spiritual, law of attraction, personal development, Think and Go Rich, Neville, Bob Proctor, because he studied the science of mind, whatever those whole all those people you study, all you guys study are the limitation, right? I'm not talking about studying the limitation within them because Bob Proctor released his potential a long time ago. But you are fighting for your limitation. You study one person and you think that they have all the answer. That's a limitation. They don't have all the answer that you have, that you think you have. No, that they have. They only have one aspect of the answer. Like for instance, if a person who artists, you go them and they're great artists, you go for them for artists to draw, but you don't go for them to learn about the mind or psychology. That's only one aspect, unless there's an artist and they understand about the mind and psychology, you go to them if they're an expert. So oftentimes, let's say um, if I was thinking about if one person who's in a relationship, you don't go them for like asking about how to understand, was it understand I'm trying to think about something I can't think. Understand about. I'm thinking. I'm thinking. I can't think of it. Understand. Um, I can't think of any. Sucks. Okay, bad example. That was bad. Well, I'm trying to think of something, but I can't think of. Or, uh, oh yeah, if a relationship expert, you can't go with them for cell training if they don't have an area of cell training if they're not an expert. Unless they are, then you can do that. I think Grant Cardone he has that too. I don't know. He does a lot of things too. But anyway, a lot of time we fight for our limitation. We fight for what we know, and we think that we're using imagination. Imagination, okay. Before that, I want to be you to understand my channel is about fantasy. Right? Oftentimes I struggle with creating content that's relative to me about fantasy because it's breaking the boundary of most people thinking because most people thinking I don't care what it is, spiritual law of attraction, they have limitation because there's this lady she do psychic readings and stuff like that, and she talk about ascending and about imagination is unlimited while knowledge is limited. If you use your imagination to use knowledge is limited, that's very limited, right? And a whole lot of people use imagination wrong, including her, including me, including everyone else. We're using it wrong. We're not expect. I just realized imagination is about expansion, expressing what you want. Like we can create anything, right? We believe that we can create anything in our mind, and what we do with it, we create imagination. We create this world of imagination of what we know, of what we experienced in the past, of what we heard about our friends from family, and we use that as imagination. And it can turn instill into the subconscious mind. And instill that's what who we track into our life. You see, oftentimes, whatever your world is, whatever what you're surrounded by, what you think, what you focus, what you embody, what you live with, most of the time is what you attract, is what you uh, um, whether you repel them. It's like this: you're a martial artist, you attract other martial artists. If you're an artist, you attract other artists. If you are a law of attraction expert, you attract other law of attraction experts. But oftentimes they have limitation with their own mind too. They're only attracting each. Like I know that they say like mind attract, but it's kind of yes, it's very interesting, topic. Yes, you can go on and on. For me, I am trying not to fight for my limitation. It's not easy, right? Sometimes I fight for my limitation, but anyway, those limitations are holding us back from greatness, holding us back from achieving our dreams or goals, right? It's for the same thing as the law of attraction. They're fighting for the limitation of what they think about what they know about the law of attraction. You can recite this, you can know this, you can say all these things, and yet they're fighting for the limitation. Same thing as a martial artist. If they are martial artists, but if they understand about the mind, they're not, and and they don't have any other expert. They don't fight for them. A lot of people fight for the limitation. Um, for instance, what you know will affect your imagination, right? It what you know limits your imagination. We say our imagination can be anything, but oftentimes we use it. Um, we use our imagination by looking back to the past experience and what we know and what your friends and influence you. That's that's still bondage. So how can we develop our imagination to the degree that it helps us propel us into greatness? And I was thinking about, uh, come on, think. Whatever you don't use your imagination or your creativity, you start to lose it, right? I want you to explore now. What do you see? If you cannot visualize, If you cannot see the thing in you, I know most people say they're not artists or creators. They are, just within their mind. And that lady, the lady on Facebook have a limitation. She said she only learned from Neville. That's a limitation that people have. So let's explore. Think about people always bring up quantum physics into the law of attraction. Well, that's not a limitation. Quantum physics is not a limitation, or universe is not a limitation. And so oftentimes we do think that. So let me use my imagination right now. I imagine myself tripping on a rock. That's the story I have told myself many times. I trip on a rock, I fall in a deep hole, and this hole is a time warp. It's a dimension, and as I fall deeper into this hole, I went into this weird world, and this world is full with is a different universe from my universe. This universe has a significant energy. You see people blasting energy. You see people flying. You see lightsabers. If I can imagine, I can use my imagination to become a Jedi. I can use my imagination to become DBZ character. I can use my imagination to uh, do things with my mind. I can use my mind to imagine, but also sometimes we use our imagination to our detriment. We use our imagination to imagine the things that which hold us back. We imagine the limitation, the thing that held us back for so long that it kills. So your imagination can set you free, or it can hold you, or it can become a prisoner for your mind, like Neo said, or not Neo. Morpheus said it will be a prisoner for your own mind. If if the law of attraction or the Hermetic principle teaches what it teaches us, this that the imagination is the most powerful. As you change your world, the inside mind, the imagination, the power of the mind, and you changes the lens which you see the world, and the you activate what I call creating your reality by seeing the mind. So oftentimes we say, oh, the kids have potential, or the lady that her friend said magical thinking. No, actually, most average person magical think their way their life, but they never use their gift inside, right? That's why the lady says dangerous. It's not dangerous. What dangerous is people use their imagination experience in the past to live the average life, to live what their parents want, their teacher want, their peers want, their friends want. That's all good and all. But today, I want you to harness imagination. Imagine where you want to go. Imagine where if you have power or you can fly. I can imagine a lot of things. I'm Superman right now. I can shoot laser out of my eyes. I can fly. You think I'm crazy, but I'm still using my imagination. I'm thinking about, okay, I'm Iron Man. I have an Iron Man suit. I can see. I can shoot beam out of my hands. I'm Batman. I have in my mind right now. I can see that I have a Batmobile, right? Where I can say I'm Batman, stuff like that. Or in my mind right now, I can use my imagination for it's morphin time, right? But people don't use their imagination. People don't daydream. Or I can imagine myself teleporting to another universe, or teleporting to get some food or something. But people don't use that. Or I imagine myself have blonde hair, But they do it cosplay. But you get the idea. You can use your imagination for a whole lot of things. Stop fighting for your limitation. Fight for the limitless your mind. Okay, and subscribe to my channel, like my video, because I understand that today it's a little bit weird and stuff. Saying stop fighting, fight. Bye bye.